Hi, I'm Keith Cotter and welcome to the HSB Academy tutorial session. In today's session we're going to learn about edge details. So what are edge details? They're a means to basically define how we want to have our top, bottom and side details on a framed wall. You will be able to control all of these details. You'll be able to define how you want your sheeting and your beams to be on each of these edges. In doing that with edge details, you will learn how to set these details up. You will do that by means of using inventory, which is a really super cool way of controlling how you want the detail to be flexible at a later stage by simply changing the size of the beam. We'll do that by using geometry lines, and you'll learn how you can manipulate these geometry lines and be able to offset them. And the reason we do that is because we'll have beams and sheets and we want to be able to anchor them to these geometry lines to be able to control exactly where you want these sheets and beams to stop and start. You'll also see how parameter based details will really make your life very interesting in terms of flexibility. And finally we're going to look at configuration, which is making a configuration of details based on one edge. And more about this later, but you'll see how configurations can really make an edge detail extremely flexible. So let's dive in and let's see how we can do this. So here on my screen I currently have an architectural wall, and if I go to the Framing Styles editor, you'll see that I already have two framing styles, a 140 and an 89 external. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create two aliases in my inventory. One is going to be called a bottom plate and the other is going to be called a very bottom plate. And now I'm going to go to my framing styles, and the first thing I'm going to do now is go to edge detail. Now when we look at this edge detail, the graphic that we see up here is explaining how we look at the wall. And imagine you're standing in front of the wall. This blue dot here signifies the bottom of the wall. This is the top of a wall, and this is the side detail of each wall. Let's define a bottom detail in the first instance. To do that, I'm going to add a detail. And in adding this detail, I'm first prompted with this message. And this is essentially telling me that I have created an alias, but I have forgotten to assign a beam to it. So if I say OK now to this and come back here to my inventory, you will now see that my bottom plate is without any type of entity. And if I now say I'm going to assign the 38 by 140 to this, and I'm also going to assign a 38 by 140 to that, we'll go back to the edge detail. You'll see here that it attempts to already create the new detail, so I'm now going to bin that by using the delete trash bin. Once more I'm going to add a detail, and I'm now placed with the first screen of the Framing Styles editor and where we can define our edge details. Up here I'm going to simply call this bottom detail. The visualization angle is based on how you want to visualize this particular wall. So at the moment you can see that it's currently at 270. If I were to change this to a 90 degree, you can see that the wall becomes inverted. But because we're working with a bottom detail, 270 just fits about right in my case. If we come in here and select the beam, the first thing that you'll notice is this beam has anchor type entities here, and if I select that beam, you'll see that I'm able to, if I go left or right or up and down, I'm not able to move that particular beam. But if I select that particular anchor icon, it currently now grays out, and also I get an exclamation mark, and if I hover over that, you'll see in the bottom left it says beam is not fully defined and needs to have more constraints. It is important for beams and sheets that they're always constrained. You will hear me probably repeating this again, but this is essential for the detail editor. Now you'll see that I can move my beam up or down on the wall, but if I try and go left or right, it's not going to go left or right. Reason being is the anchor on the vertical axis is currently locked, as you can see here. You'll see it'll also snap, in this case, to the axis that we have here, the geometry axis. Similarly, I can relock this and I could unlock this particular axis, and you'll now see that I'm able to move it left and right. So in this case, I'm just going to put it back here and relock it to this axis. This grip point that you see here is allowing me to be able to rotate as well the beam. And if I were to rotate it like this, you'll now see that I'm getting the exclamation mark once more, and that is because once more I'm not constraining the beam. So I should really constrain this beam to a given axis. But for now we're going to keep this very simple, and I'm going to put it like this and lock into the axis here and lock it to this axis here. What we're going to do is we're going to add a second beam into this. So I'm going to add a beam by going here and saying add a beam, and that will now add a second beam on top of this beam here. What I'm going to do is, just for purposes of this, I'm going to copy this beam and move it down here and snap it to this particular beam and lock it into place. Now, what's important to note here is earlier on I made some aliases called bottom plate, some very bottom plate. And if I come here and select this, this is the very bottom plate, and currently you can see here that it's using type-based values in terms of the beams here, and they've got those from the inventory, and currently the inventory is using what's called a default beam. But if I now say I want that to become the very bottom beam, it now adopts the alias that I have given to that. Also, if I select this particular beam and now call that bottom plate, it is now called bottom plate. What's really now nice and cool about all of this is if I were to say OK now to this and go back here to the inventory, and if I were to change the very bottom plate to a 38 by 89 and go to edge detail, by default everything updates and the detail keeps as it is. If I want to make a change to this detail again, I have two means of editing the detail. I can either hover over the bottom detail and pick the pencil here, or I can pick the pencil shape in the image up here and it gets me back. If for some reason you said that this particular beam needed to be on this particular side of the wall, you could then select it. I could unlock it from the anchor point here, move it over and lock it back in again. And hence what we now have is our bottom detail as defined. So let's move on now and maybe create our top detail next. So now we got to the top detail. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create two new aliases in the inventory. One is called top plate and the other I'm going to call very top plate. We're going to go back to the framing styles and we're going to go to inventory, and for the top plate I'm going to set 38 by 140 and the very top plate 38 by 89, and we're going to go to the edge detail and we're going to create a new detail now, and I'm going to call this the top detail. Now we're going to do something slightly different this time. First of all, we're going to add a beam, and for this beam I'm going to move it up so that it snaps to here, and I'm going to lock it in, and I'm also going to put that beam as a very top beam, and for this one here I'm going to put it as a top plate. Okay, what we're now going to do is we're going to examine a little bit about parameters, and what I want to do is I want to control the offset of this sheet so that it's 5 mil below the top of this sheet here, at the top of this beam, so that we always can control the offset value so that it's variable. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to add an offset line from a geometry line. So down here you can see it says select a line to offset, and I'm going to select this particular line here, and I'm going to just pick a particular location for this offset line. So this is the current location, and if I select that particular offset line, you can see that I can control it. So I'm going to make this 33 mil so that it's controlled at a certain value. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this particular sheet, and I'm going to add a parameter to that sheet. Now, there are three different types of parameters. There's a string parameter, which is the name, a numeric parameter, which takes a number, and a yes and no parameter, which takes yes or no as an entry. So I'm going to add a numeric parameter, and for this parameter I'm going to say it's offset zone 1. And aside here I'm going to make this offset, let's leave it at 30 for now. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to select this particular offset line, and you'll see that currently the offset has a fixed value of 33, but I'm going to drop this down here and say it becomes a parameter now, and you now see that it currently picks up the current parameter offset -1. If you had other types of parameters, you'd have a list in the drop down here. But what we now need to do is we also need to connect this particular zone to that particular parameter, and we do that by dragging it up and connecting it to that offset line. Now if I adjust that particular value here, for example if I put in 50, you'll now see that I'm able to control exactly where I want this particular value to be, and hence I get a parameter value for this detail. The next thing I want to do is I want to show you how you do the yes/no parameter. So in this case I'm going to select a top beam here, and I'm going to add another parameter to that, and this is the yes/no parameter. And in here I'm going to say top plate, but maybe make it more particular and say very top plate. And what we want to do is we essentially have an option down here which is called do not use, and it's currently set as fixed. And if I select that now, you will now see that it's currently set as a fixed value. But if I change this to a parameter and I make it very top plate and select this parameter here, you'll now see that I can control the visibility of this particular beam as being a yes or no value. This will make more sense in a few minutes when you have configuration set up. So for now I'm just going to leave it switched on so that we can see the result. So now we're going to go to OK, and you'll now see that for the top detail I currently have two sets of values over here. These are the parameters, and you can see here that when I check that, the top plate turns off, and when I check the offset zone here and make it 10 for example, you can now see that I can control with variable flexible detail where I want each of these values to be. One more thing I want to do now is I'm going to edit the detail, and we're going to look at configurations. Currently we have a configuration called default. I'm going to add another configuration here, and I'm going to call this one no very top detail, and I'm going to use that as the name of the detail. And for this detail, what I basically want to do is I do not want to have it showing the very top detail, and now I can say OK to this. So now what I have is, interestingly, here on the top detail I have a default setting which shows me my top plate detail and the sheet value here stepped down, and if I pick this no very top detail, you can now see that I have a configuration. So I could have multiple configurations for the same detail showing different variations for that detail. So it could be with the beam turned on and maybe this particular sheet extended, and hence it's like a saved setting for the detail. And depending on what you want to use the detail for, you can set that particular configuration in the detail. So what we now have is essentially our top detail and our bottom detail set up, and that will allow us then to be able to frame the wall with these two types of detail as such. And finally, just so that we can really see this particular detail in operation, I'm going to again look at our real-time viewer and view this here, and maybe for the top detail we can see the result in operation, so that when I pick the configuration detail you can now see the configuration that I've set. Or if I pick default and maybe change this value and make it a really ridiculous value, something like 100, you can now see the adjusted value. I'm Keith Cotter, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next future session.